tunghayan dahil kasi ngayon, nasa mga balita ngayon, Professor, ay ito si United States Secretary of State si Marco Rubio, former Senator Marco Rubio, again gave assurances of Washington's ironclad commitment, balot sa bakal, no? Ang description dito sa commitment po ng Washington DC sa Manila when it comes to yung in the face of yung aggression po at lalong lumalala, palala ng palala, mas nagiging agresibo ang China dito po sa ating katubigan, particular sa ating West Philippine Sea. Bago tunghayan yan, gusto ko yung tanong, no, what do you make of the appointments made by US President Donald Trump? Itong si Senator Marco Rubio. Ito ang months ago, sinasabi na ng mga balita ang planong i-appoint ni Donald Trump ang mga tinaguriang China hawks. Diba? Ito na nga, nagkatotoo na Secretary of State niya, si Senator Marco Rubio. Kilala ito. He is one of several US officials barred from entering China. No, very hard line si Marco Rubio dito sa itong economic rise ng China. No? So, yung appointments mo po ni US President Donald Trump, what do you make of that, Professor?
Right, thank you. Marami pong salamat sa tanong. And when we look into the appointment of the Secretary of State, and we look at it from a Philippine perspective, we could see that the new Secretary of State is in fact a friend of the Philippines when it comes to pursuing particular policies and agenda and interests that align with our security concerns. So kung nakita po natin yung statement during yung Congress hearing po, nabanggit po ni Senator Rubio, Secretary of State Rubio, na the Philippine-U.S. relationship remains pivotal. And when we look into the U.S.-China relationship, ang determinant po ng trajectory ng U.S.-China relationship ay base sa engagement ng China with the Philippines. So in this regard, we can see na conditional, based on his statement, ang long-term trajectory of U.S.-China ties based on how China respects the sovereignty and sovereign rights of the Philippines in the West Philippine Sea particularly. So there were concerns in the past na sinabi na baka maging bargaining chip lang tayo when it comes to the U.S.-China overarching trade-off, di ba? But the statements made so far by the Secretary of State illustrates that the Philippine-U.S. alliance is not up for grabs in an overarching scheme of things when it comes to trade-offs between the U.S. and China. Pwede po magkaroon yan in other areas, but based on the statements that we are hearing so far, it seems that Washington is indicating through the Secretary of State that the Philippine-U.S. relationship is not something that could easily be traded off in pursuit of more robust or normalized U.S.-China relations. So obviously there are critiques towards this position from other areas of the world. Pero po pagdating sa Philippine position natin, this complements our national security interest.
So, Professor, no, Rubio has also said that the relationship between the U.S. and the Philippines is ironclad, and like you said, no, that there's so far, no, it doesn't seem that we're going to be used as a trade-off or for trade. But do you also think that because of this stance of the U.S. government, will we see an escalation between the tension between the Philippines and China?
Well, initially there are two ways to answer this po. If we look into, for instance, the trajectory of China's engagements dito po sa West Philippine Sea, makikita po natin na since 2008, there was already an ongoing degree of escalation taking place towards China's expansionist ambition. So hindi po new ang expansionist drive ng China dito po sa West Philippine Sea. In fact, however, na-try na po natin maging, we try to appease China at one point, you know, to the point na we try to keep quiet and sort of illustrated that we are willing to manage ties quietly, etc. But hindi po tayo nag-benefit sa position na yun. For instance, there were several instances, the occupation of Sandy Cay, yung pag-ram ng Philippine vessel with our fishermen na were left to drown. In fact, yung Vietnamese Coast Guard yung tumulong. And of course, yung swarming sa key areas ng West Philippine Sea noong 2020 to 2021. So we've tried the appeasement approach, and that really did not change China's behavior. Pero obviously, China is dissatisfied with the fact that the Philippines is standing up for its sovereignty and sovereign rights. And prior to yung election campaign pa lang, China tried to enhance its escalation with the hope of having leverage pagdating ni President Trump sa White House, in terms of negotiations. Pero as we can see, obviously China is frustrated, and China will be frustrated, and it would try to pursue yung tinatawag po nating salami slicing, where it is trying to slowly take over key areas, occupy key areas within our lawful exclusive economic zone, and that would also be a factor in the long-term approach. So this is where we would need to coordinate more with our ally and our partners to apply cost on China.
Let's get together. Sunday 25. Sunday 25.